Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMAB Reviews, and today we are taking a look at the newest album from Kanye West titled Yay. Let's get to it. Okay, up front, I have to say I don't necessarily support everything that Kanye West has said. He has said a lot of things, some that he's retracted or corrected. Regardless, I don't support everything that he said. He has said some very offensive things to a lot of people. I'm not saying I support those things. I'm saying I'm reviewing the music. Now, as a critic, I do have to look at it through the lens of the cultural figure that he is and have to remember that those things were said and that he's done these things. But I'm still looking at the music. If I say I like the music or I like his music, I'm not necessarily saying I like the person. I like the music. I'm reviewing the music, but obviously through his cultural lens. I just have to say that up front. So Kanye West is an artist I actually do like. I've listened to a lot of his music. Not all of it, not all. I believe 8 albums now. But I do like some of it. I've listened to most of Graduation and some of his hits, as well as I've listened to Life of Pablo, his most recent album. I had some friends that were really into it, and they helped me get into Kanye West music. And I really liked it. He really does do a good job at bending genres, and from anything from hip-hop to rap to some R&B sounds. He has a lot of sounds that he kind of meshes together really seamlessly. And I really do like it. As a producer, he does good. As a rapper, I like his bars. I do really like a lot of his music. So, what did we get on Ye? Ye is another example of just bending the genres. So, Life of Pablo, I do feel was a really good album that had some stellar songs, but unfortunately, it was just a little too bloated. I think it was 18 songs. So, Ye is a 7-track album, and hey, I'm okay with that. Cutting out the fluff is totally fine with me. Not saying that every track on Ye is perfect, but hey, if we're cutting out all the fluff that was on Life of Pablo and just getting to some good tracks, that's fine with me. I'm not going to complain about that. While it's short, hey, at least it's not filled with tracks that he just needed to add some run length to it. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I do actually really enjoy Ye. There are some disappointing tracks, but overall, I'm very positive on the music here. I think that there's some really interesting sounds. There's some songs that sound just very interesting. I'll get into 2 of my favorite tracks that definitely stand out in just a second. But like I said, I do really like this album. One of my favorite tracks is Yikes. It sounds very similar to Kanye West's Wolves off of Life of Pablo. I don't think it's a direct sample, but it does sound very similar, at least in the chorus of Yikes, and I do really like it. It talks about just feeling scared of the thoughts that you have, as well as addiction and obviously the thoughts that come because of his addiction to, in this song he's talking about drugs, but it's a very interesting track, and it even talks about just the thoughts that you have being scary. And the previous track, I Thought About Killing You, is obviously about his own contemplations with suicide, and it's something that while obviously I don't want anyone to have these thoughts, it's a very interesting transition here because you have the thought that he has and then the reaction to that thought, him scared by these thoughts, these terrible thoughts that he's had. And it's a very interesting transition that he has right there. It just his fear of his own self, not of outside things, not the fear of him killing himself, just the fear of the fact that he had these thoughts. It's a very interesting transition, and one that I really like in the order that it was set. Plus, the vocals and the music sound really interesting, and the rapping, and Kanye West's rapping is really good. Plus, it's one of the, I believe, only tracks that doesn't have a feature, so it's very personal for him. And hey, I do really like that song. But probably one of the best tracks on this album is Ghost Town, a really stellar song that has some really excellent musical elements to it. During the chorus, Kid Cudi delivers the chorus, and it sounds really good. It's heavy, it's got a guitar. It really sounds good because it's showing 2 sides of his thought. One of them's a very upbeat and happy while Kanye's singing, versus the Kid Cudi chorus, which is very dark, heavy, and gritty, and it just shows 2 different sides of his thought, how he has this desire to be loved and to be happy, and it just shows the division in his mind. Also, later we get a verse from an artist I hadn't heard of, so I don't know if I'm missing something here, but 070 Shake. Um, Honestly, a really good verse about just wanting to reobtain youth and just being childlike. And hey, it really works. All three of them really work well, and it's a really stellar track. Plus, I mentioned guitars. Yeah, there's guitars on this song. There's a guitar on another song. And it really sounds good. I think that it's a really interesting thing to do on a rap song. And not that just because I love guitars and every song should have a guitar or it's not worth listening to. I'm not one of those people. I'm saying it's different. It's not something that I'm used to hearing, and Kanye really mixed it up on this part. Wouldn't Leave is genuinely funny, not because of Kanye, but because of the situation, because it's talking about how his relationship with Kim Kardashian is strong and how she hasn't left him through all the stupid stuff that he's done, and he even admits that he's done stupid stuff. And hey, while I don't like a lot of what he said, I've got to give it credit because it actually made me laugh, because he says, for all the people that have done stupid things, somehow if your woman stayed with you, like, this is for her, for those people who trusted you and stuck with you. And hey, it's just a funny song because he has said stupid stuff, and but yet he's had someone who stayed with him. And it's just a funny song. It really is, just because of the situation. It's a fine song in general. I actually do like it. There's some samples on there that are very Motown sounding, and I do really like the song. I just found it very funny because of the situation, and it's really just a tip of the hat to to Kim, because of her strength for staying with him and having to take all the pressure that all the media and fans were putting on Kanye. Obviously it reflects on her, and so it is a really funny song, and I do really like it. All Mine is my least favorite track. It features an artist called Vali, I believe is how you'd pronounce it, and honestly I don't like his voice, and while the lyrics are fine, Kanye doesn't do a great job on this. And Vali, who does the chorus, is just obnoxious, and I'm not really liking it. It's a song about infidelity, and it's fine lyrically, but I just can't get into it because of the production's weird, and it's really disjointed. As I said, the chorus is just obnoxious, and Kanye didn't do anything interesting on this song. I thought About Killing You is a rather boring track in general. I mean, I said I like the transition from that to Yikes, and it's a fine song. I think that I like the general message behind it. I like it in theory, but I just don't really like the actual concept, or I don't actually like the actual presentation of it. It's fine. It's just very minimalistic and not too interesting and very repetitive. Besides that, it's a pretty good album. I mean, lyrically it's pretty good, and I've mentioned the tracks I really like. There are Violent Crimes. Now, that is a song that's about how, like, his daughters made him have a different look on women. And hey, it's a sweet song. It's just not really the standout track. It's definitely a throwaway track. That seems, if there were a throwaway track, I feel like that one was it. It's sweet, but I just don't really care about it. It's a song that I won't remember in a couple days. But besides those three tracks I named, the other four are really good, really strong. I really like Kanye's production. It's very disjointed, but I really think it works. That he has a lot of different samples, a lot of different sounds that will be thrown in, and a lot of different styles of genres, and it really works well together, honestly. I think Kanye really knocked this one out of the park. There are some bad tracks, but hey, I do think that overall it's a pretty solid album, and at least it's not over bloated like Life of Pablo. And I'd much rather have short and concise with a couple bleh tracks than way huge with a ton of bleh tracks. This is a really hard album for me to rate. I mean, I do like it. I do actually like a lot of this. 4 tracks are good, 2 are great, 2 tracks are good or decent, I guess, and then 1 is bad. All Mine is a bad song, I do admit it. But hey, it's not a bad album. It's just short, so I feel like I don't have enough to really throw it together. And because while I'm happy it's short, if it was 10 songs and it was the same balancing, it would be much easier for me to give it a rating. But because it's short, 1 bad song really pulls down the album. So with a lot of thought, because there are some really great songs, but some that just don't really work for me. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you guys think of Yay? Please let me know. Also, are there any upcoming albums that you'd like me to check out? Any that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks? I will add that to my schedule. Please let me know. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later.